Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video, I'll be talking about engine displacement. If you've ever wondered what the 1.6, 1.8, 2.0, 2.5, 3.5, 5.5 liters that you see on cars mean, or why the older ES is ES300 and the newer one is ES350 and the newer generation is still ES350 and not ES400 or ES450, or why in Mercedes-Benz you see C300, C160, C180, C250, C300, things like that. Or why you see BMW 318, 320, 335, 340 and things like that. By the time you are done with this video, you have a better understanding of what engine displacement is. But those numbers tell us the displacement of the engine in that vehicle. So normally a C180 should mean C-class 1.8 liter engine, or a 335 should tell us 3 series 3.5 liter engine. So the thing is this, in the past when you see probably C250, it means that this is a 2.5 liter engine. And when you see 328, then we're meant to see a 2.8 liter engine inside the vehicle. But now a lot of things have changed and those numbers are just numbers. They don't mean the exact displacement all the time. Sometimes they still do, but that is not the case now because of a lot of things that have come into play in the automobile world. We'll get to all that with time. So in summary, engine displacement means the combined volume capacity of all the cylinders in an engine. And this means the total amount of air that can be sucked into that engine to perform one complete cycle. Each cylinder performs a 4-stroke cycle: intake, compression, power, and exhaust. This takes place in all cylinders. So to know the amount, so the intake part is where the air comes in. So each cylinder will actually have to perform intake. But this is the total amount of volume capacity of all the cylinders combined in the engine. So an internal combustion engine needs air and fuel to produce mechanical energy. And this happens, by the piston in the cylinder going down, going from top dead center, going down to bottom dead center to suck in air. To understand how the engine works, please see my video on how the engine works. That way you also understand what the 4-stroke cycle is about and all that. I don't want to distract us in this video. The units used to measure engine displacement are liters, cubic centimeters or cc, as well as cubic inch or ci. I will explain more as we go on in this video. And if you want to mathematically calculate this, calculate the engine displacement, you would need to get the bore. The bore is the diameter of the cylinder. Get half of that, that's the radius. You square the radius and multiply that by pi, 3.1416, but let's use 3.14. 3.14 should be okay. And you also multiply that by the stroke. Don't mix this stroke up with the 4-stroke. The stroke is simply the space between the piston at TDC going down to BDC. So that space in the cylinder from the highest point of the piston head to the lowest point of the piston head is the total volume or capacity of that cylinder. So to know the total capacity of that engine, when you get the cylinder displacement, you multiply by the total number of cylinders in that engine. And it's common sense to know that the larger the displacement, the more power being produced, but that also means the more fuel being consumed, and the lower or smaller the displacement, that means less power being produced and less fuel being used. But in reality, the displacement in engines now don't really tell us the power output. It just tells us the capacity that engine is capable of producing. Because we now have what they call forced induction. Forced induction is using turbochargers or superchargers to force more air into the cylinder so that the engine can produce more power. And naturally aspirated engines are engines that do not use any form of forced induction. So if you bring two engines with the same displacement and one is naturally aspirated and the other one is forced induced, obviously the forced induced one will produce more power. Take for instance the BMW S65 B40 engine. That is a 4.0 liter naturally aspirated engine, and it produces 414 horsepower, and it is a V8 engine. It is found in the 2008-2013 BMW 3 Series, the M3 to be specific. And like I said, it is a 4.0 liter V8 naturally aspirated engine, and it produces 414 horsepower. But when you compare that to the Mercedes-AMG M177 4.0 liter twin turbocharged engine found in the C63S AMG, this one produces 503 horsepower. See the difference, 503 horsepower and 414 horsepower. different. But you know, like I said, this other one is turbocharged, so it's forcing more air in, so it's able to produce more power. I did not compare the E90 with the W204 of its generation, that's the C class of its generation, because that one is a 6.2 liter engine. It's naturally aspirated as well, but it won't be a fair comparison in what I'm trying to explain here. Hey, I was just trying to explain that naturally aspirated and turbocharged engines do not produce the same amount of power, even though they have the same displacement. So for a quick calculation on how to get engine displacement, I'll be using my favorite Mercedes-AMG engine, that is the M177 engine. It has a bore of 8.3 centimeters and a stroke of 9.2 centimeters. You know, for like I said, for the radius, you do that 8.3 divided by 2, that will be 4.15 times, okay, 4.15 squared. You can do 4.15 times 4.15, that's 17 point something. So with the formula I mentioned earlier, pi r squared h, to get the cylinder displacement, you know, we'll do 3.14 times 17 points, I don't remember the exact, but I know 17 point something times 9.2 will give us 497.5 or something cc. So like I said, this engine has 8 cylinders, so we multiply that 497.5 times 8, and that is 3,980 something cc. So to round that up to liters, you know, you just do 4,000, so that will be 4.0 liters. And to turn that 4 liters into cubic inches, you multiply 4 by 61.02 something to get us cubic inches. That is going to be around 243 or 244 cubic inches. So like I said, engine displacement is measured in liters, cubic centimeters, or cubic inches. So on some engines or on some cars, you might even see the what's it called, the cubic inches written, but you won't see the cubic inches written on it. They'll just put the number. So for instance, the Ford Mustang GT Boss 5.0 liter engine, but on the engine itself, you see Boss 302. This is telling us that, okay, this is 302 cubic inches. I think all 5.0 liter engines are 302 cubic inches. So, you know, all this is just for us to get used to this. Also, technology has played a big role in helping us getting the most power from an engine, apart from using turbochargers or superchargers. So take for instance the 8.0 liter Viper V10 engine that was introduced by Chrysler in 1992. This, like I said, is an 8.0 liter engine that is large displacement, and it's even V10, but it produced only 400 horsepower. I know this was 1992, but in the future, you know, I think in 2015 or so, they gave us a newer, the 5th generation or so, and the 5th generation is still a naturally aspirated engine, still the same 8.0 liter engine, but this time around it produces as much as 640 horsepower. Things like better, lighter materials used in the engine, or VVT, you know, variable valve timing, better fuel injectors and things like that have been able to help us suck out more power from these engines. So you could still have the same displacement without using turbochargers and still be able to make a whole lot more power. So as much as I said that in the F30 we have the 316, 318, 320, 340. So what it just means is that the manufacturer here, BMW, has given us a model, the 3 Series, and they're giving us different engine options or different engine displacements. So it's up to you to know whether you want the 4-cylinder, the 6-cylinder, the 8-cylinder, or you know, whatever you choose to. What this means is some people just buy these cars because they need a car for movement. They don't necessarily need the 6-cylinder or 8-cylinder for all that power, but they want to enjoy the comforts of a 3 Series. This is why the manufacturers give us these cars with different displacement options, so that it's up to you to pick what you want. So the next time you hear someone say, I'm not buying a Mercedes-Benz or I'm not buying a BMW because they consume so much fuel, just know that this person doesn't have enough money to buy a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW, because you can get a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW with a 1.8 liter engine. This is less than the Camry's 3.5 liter engine found in the V6, or even the 2.5 liter engine found in the 4 cylinders. So this engine should be more fuel efficient. You consume less fuel than the larger displacement 2.5 or 3.5 liter found in the Camry. So engine displacement is the combined swept volume of all the cylinders inside an engine. And like I said, the swept volume is TDC to BDC. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ayo Loves Cars, and follow me on Instagram, Ayo Loves Cars together. So please share this with your friends and family so that they can also get to appreciate and love their cars better. See you in the next video. Have a great one.